Here at Xbox, I've got to say we are pumped to be here with you guys and to be able to showcase for the very first time on Australian soil the Xbox One. Now my name's Adam, I'm from the local Xbox team, and today we'll be showing you not only some of the cool technology behind the box, but also some of the kick-ass games that you guys can expect to see for launch. Now we'll just say that everything we're showing you today is pre-release code, so if we do hit a few tech snafus along the way, just bear with us and we'll work through that together. So with that, let's jump in and take a look at some of the specs behind the box, in case you haven't already seen them for yourself. So first up, the Xbox 360 sports an 8-core CPU with 8 GB of system memory and a 500 GB hard drive. In addition to that, it has a HDMI. But where the magic really starts to happen is through the console's cloud acceleration functionality. Essentially, for every Xbox One you have connected in your living room, there is 3 more in the cloud. Now these specs are cool and all, and they sound great, but I mean, what does it really mean in terms of new features versus what you guys have already got on the Xbox 360 today? Well, here's a couple of my personal favourites. Firstly, computational power. As I just mentioned, the cloud really enables something special here. Not only is the Xbox One console already significantly more powerful than the 360, but with the cloud, we've future-proofed that processing power so that we can continue to evolve that power over the next decade. Human AI, the ability for the console to learn the playing styles of both you and your friends and incorporate that knowledge into the way in which bots play in multiplayer or campaign mode. Living worlds, the ability for you to log off your console at night, jump back on in the morning, and that world that you're playing in has entirely changed. Environments have been damaged, battles have been won and lost. You know, unlimited storage. I mentioned before, 500 gigabytes on board with the console, but if you tap that out, no problem, saved to the cloud. And what we've really done with the Xbox One console is to bring 2 operating systems together to operate simultaneously to enable things like multitasking and instant switching. So that if I'm smashing out a game of Forza Motorsport 5 and I get a Skype call come in, I can just hit a button and boom, I'm switching straight to that application. When I'm finished the call, again, click of the button, I'm straight back into Forza 5 and picking up right where I left off. Maybe I've just lost a race and I just don't have the time or the energy to give that another crack right now. So I jump out, watch maybe an episode of Breaking Bad. When that's done, boom, hit that button, I'm straight back into Forza to give that race another go. No waiting times, no loading times to reboot that game after you've gone and done something different. And of course, applications. As you'd expect, a whole host of new apps landing on the Xbox One console. One of those is Skype, 1080p. The ability to have a Skype call from your lounge room to any other device that supports that Skype platform. And of course, one of the pieces of technology that not only enables Skype, but also some of our other apps that we're launching is the new Kinect sensor. So with that, let's take a look at some of the innovation behind Kinect 2.0. We've really made some changes in 3 key areas: Kinect's eyes, Kinect's ears, and Kinect's brain. And to help me show that to you guys live today, I'd like to invite my colleague Eric to the stage, and let's take a look at what Kinect sees behind the scenes. So what you can see on screen right now is the 3D vision of Kinect. The fidelity is actually 3 times that of the first generation sensor. Now why do we care about that? Well, what you'll notice is that we can now see things like precise movements in Eric's fingers. Not only that, we can start to see the outline of his shirt and wrinkles in that shirt, as well as facial expressions like his eyes and mouth opening and closing, which we can then take and put into the game over the character that you're actually playing, so that their expressions reflect those that you are currently doing on your lounge or wherever you may be playing. What we've also done is improve the play space. So if any of you have Kinect out there today, you'll be accustomed with the fact that you really need 2.5 to 3 meters back from the device to accurately track your entire body. But with Kinect 2.0, you really only need just over 1 metre to track your entire body, which is a great new improvement. We've also increased the width of view, such that we can enable a much larger play space, which is ideal for multiplayer of 4 to 6 people. What we also have done is we've included in Kinect 2.0 a 1080p HD colour camera, which you can see on screen right now, very crisp, very clear. Ideal for applications like Skype. 1080p! But look, But if you guys are anything like me, I mean, I don't really play games certainly in these types of lights. I usually play in a dimly lit or a dark room. And if I just get the guys to dim the lights on us right now, what you'll see is that we start to lose visibility of Eric, which is, such a shame. We can no longer track his precise movements or really any movement at all right now. But with Kinect 2.0, we've enabled an active IR camera, which essentially is night vision for the Kinect. So we can see everything Eric's now doing very, very clearly. Now don't worry, if you don't want Kinect to see what you're doing in the dark, we can of course toggle off that functionality so that the Kinect sensor cannot see or hear you if you don't want it to know what you're up to. We'll just pause there. Now also what you'll see now is I've just enabled the camera, the standard colour camera, back down in the bottom right hand corner. And what Eric's going to do is he's going to bring up a flashlight and shine it on his body. Because what we know is that in the past, with the Kinect sensor, the first generation, we did suffer from a few issues where light was impacting gameplay. Whether that be sunlight coming through a window, or maybe that was a lamp in the corner of the room that was reflecting light onto your body, as you can see in the bottom right. But what you may have noticed is that with active IR enabled, that ambient light is entirely filtered out. You cannot see that flashlight anywhere in night vision mode, which makes, of course, another great change to the Kinect sensor. Now, what about Kinect's brains? Well, if any of you guys have kind of been following Xbox and Kinect for a while, you no doubt will have seen the attractive stickman figure that you can see on the screen right now. And he's back and he's all new and improved. We can now track multiple more points on the body, and we can track smooth motions such as Eric's hip movements, if you're into that type of thing. Maybe his shoulder movements, as well as separation between the thumb and his other fingers through stickman mode. But look, it's been a while since stickman came on the scene, and he's put on a few kgs over the years. So we now refer to him endearingly as Blockman. And now the great thing about Blockman is that we can now not only track directional movement, we can actually track rotations in movement. So if you see Eric as he moves his leg from front facing to back facing, or as he rotates his head, we can track all those movements and incorporate them again into gameplay. You may be in a first-person shooter and you want to peek around the corner to get line of sight of some enemies, but you don't want to use yet another button because we're already using like 10 or 12 of them at one time. Well, you can use Kinect to peek around that corner using this type of technology. What we've also done is introduce the ability to track impact and force. And what you'll see here is as Eric moves around the screen, as his character moves from green to red, we're tracking the distribution of weight across his body. We can also track the velocity of his movements. So maybe you're in a boxing game, you're throwing a few small jabs, you'll see that reflected by these tiny white circles appearing around his hands right now. But if he wants to throw a haymaker blow, boom, we can track that. The big white circle reflecting the damage that he's doing to the other player. Really going to town here. Now Eric, don't get your heart rate too far up, because the next thing I want to show the guys is this heart rate monitor. We can now estimate a player's heart rate by the Kinect's ability to analyse blood flow beneath the skin. Now clearly a haymaker probably wasn't the best thing to perform prior to this demo, but if Eric was standing relatively still, you'd see a static heart rate beam coming across the screen there. But if he starts to exercise, starts jumping around, running on the spot for example, that heart rate will really start to pick up and we'll get a beats per minute reading. So again, ideal for fitness applications for example. And the last thing I'll show you guys today is the ability for us to now track facial expressions. So whether Eric is smiling, or if he's frowning, or he's looking away, again, we can use that technology to build in your emotions and your facial expressions into your actual player model on screen. So that's some cool stuff there. Now, the other piece of new technology, which of course complements Kinect and the console, is the controller. Now, quick show of hands out there, if we can get a little bit of light. How many of you guys, spend more than 20, 30 hours a week with your hands wrapped around one of these bad boys? All right, there's a few of you guys. That could have been awkward. So we've taken this 360 controller, which I'm sure many of you know is largely heralded as one of the best controllers ever created, and we've added 40 new improvements to the device. And some of my personal favourites are the thumbsticks. We've made them smaller with a knurled texture, and they are now only require 25% less force to direct those thumbsticks. We've also made it significantly more comfortable by removing this big ugly battery pack from the back of the 360 controller and made that battery internal, so it's not in the way of your fingertips when you're gaming. We've also reduced or changed the centre of gravity of the controller, so it feels lighter and is more comfortable in the hand. But look, my personal favourite is the impulse triggers that we've introduced. Now, many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with the rumble motion that's in most controllers today. We've taken that one step further and we've introduced additional rumble motors behind each of the two triggers, which allow impulse feedback directly to your fingertips during gameplay. Now, Eric, I know that you're someone who spends a fair bit of time with the Xbox One controller. Maybe you could help these guys out with showing us a few examples of how this impulse functionality would play out in a real game.
I would love to. Seems like my screen is flickering, but perhaps I will just continue on.
Had to be you.
Why not? Of course. So, the controller. We have 3 in the country, so that's really not going to do so well for every one of you to get your hands on it. I'll do my best to describe it and make it come to life for you on the stage. So, the applications that we're going to show you today about the impulse triggers, these are applications that developers are going to be able to take a hold of and build amazing experiences around. One of them that I think all of you will like really helps when you're packing heat. So if you're in a first-person shooter game and you pick up a Gatling gun or a pistol or a sniper rifle, for some of you guys that like to just hide behind corners and kill people without them even knowing, I know you are out there. Now, what you'll be able to feel is every gun will have a different recoil on it. So when you're holding down your trigger, if you're shooting a really good gun, you'll feel that recoil color kick back. If you're holding on to a smaller pistol though, it'll be a little bit of a softer burst.
Yeah, right. So what you're saying is that if I'm holding a sniper rifle or a machine gun, I'm going to get different recoil fed back through my fingertips.
Exactly, but for you it'll be a sniper rifle, Adam.
Yeah, right. Very cool, very cool. What else have we got?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked. This one is one of my favorites, but it's a little more subtle. It's not quite overt, and it comes in handy when you're playing a game that requires you to measure your character's stamina. Say maybe in a sports game or an RPG game. For me, it would definitely be an RPG game. I never spend enough on stamina. I'm always too busy building up my enchantments, etc.
Sure.
So in this particular game, when I'm getting my ass kicked, I need to run away really fast, I need to keep my eye on the stamina bar. You don't really want that distraction. Now what we're going to be able to do is feed you through the impulse triggers, we'll give you your heartbeat. So you'll know exactly what's happening to your character and how much time you have before you get killed by a level 19 necromancer who's behind you.
Very cool. And look, I know, Eric, one of the games that we're pretty excited about is Forza Motorsport 5 that's launching on the console. Is there going to be kind of any functionality that would play out in a car racing game scenario?
Well, I will not be demoing Forza Motorsport 5 because, as you know, I am really terrible at that game. I'm all speed and no finesse. And so what happens to me in a game like that is I take a corner and I take it absolutely way too fast, out of control, and you slam on the brakes, as I do. What you'll feel this time is the ABS will kick in, and you'll feel that motion come through your fingertips and deliver you that real-time feedback.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, thanks for that, Eric. I'll be back up a little later. So guys, as you can see, we've made some significant advancements to not only the console, but also the other elements, the sensor and the controller. And we've really designed these 3 pieces of technology from the ground up together to deliver some pretty freaking awesome gaming experiences. There's nothing quite like seeing gameplay live. So with that, I would like to invite Katie to the stage, and she's going to give us a live demo of one of our launch titles, playing live on an Xbox One console here today, Ryse. Let's take a look.
The men are ready, sir. We advance at your command.
There's a catapult at the top. You can take out the tower from here. Capture the catapult. Aim it on the tower. Signal when you're ready. We'll hold the bastards back.
So with that, let's move on to our next demo. I'm very, very excited to show you guys this one, and to actually present this and give you a look at some, again, live gameplay. I'd like to introduce David Silverman, Marketing Director of EA Games, show you guys Battlefield 4. Hi everybody. Oh, that's loud. Where are my Battlefield fans at? All right, nice. So really excited to show you guys a demo for you today. Before we get to that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the single player campaign of Battlefield. Because I know Battlefield, traditionally, everyone loves playing the multiplayer, but the single player, we're doing a lot of really cool things this time around with Battlefield 4. I want to walk you through some of those. So, as you may or may not know, Battlefield is made by our DICE team and located in Stockholm, Sweden. And one of the cool things about the team is that literally about, I don't know, 3 or 4 desks away from where all the engineers and designers are making Battlefield 4 is the team making the Frostbite 3 next generation engine. So one of the benefits of that is the fact that if a designer has some cool ideas for, you know, something they wish they had some kind of custom tech in the game, they can just walk over, you know, to the designer, to the engineer on Frostbite and say, hey, really be cool if you make them super cool explosion-y thing happen. And then they wake up the next morning, they come back to their desk, they load up the Frostbite editor, next thing you know, there's an option that says, do you want to insert super cool explosion techie thing? It happens something like that. So what we want to do is we want to take the power of this engine and really showcase it in our single player campaign. And the first and foremost thing we want to do is we want to deliver a fully, very emotionally driven campaign story. So one of the things we really have strived for this time around is really deliver that full emotion out of the characters. So we're doing a new technology called full performance capture. Now you guys have heard motion capture before, right? It's where you wear those funky suits with the balls everywhere and you dance around like an idiot, right? So that's kind of the old way of doing it, where you would do motion in one area, and then you bring in some Hollywood actor to go in a sound booth, and they'd record their voice in another area, and then someone back on the studio side would merge the two together. The problem with that is you don't get the full emotional story out of it. The guy doing the voice doesn't actually know what's going on in the scene. He's not interacting with other actors. They're not even doing the emotion. So it's hard to get a lot of the emotion out of them, right? They literally just have a VO director in their ear saying, act surprised, and then they're like, read the line. So what we want to do is we actually shoot the Battlefield 4 cinematics very similarly to how Hollywood does actual movies. We actually take all the actors, we put them in a sound stage, and we record them all together, and they all are wearing the suits and everything with sensors all over their faces. There's cameras pointed right at their face to capture all of the information. And then what we do is we take all that information, we put it into our Frostbite 3 engine, and we marry it to the digital actors. So it's very similar to how movies are now done. So what I'm going to show for you guys momentarily is 2 videos. We're going to see a video of one of the scenes from our Fishing in Baku demo. This was a demo that we premiered Battlefield 4 with back in March. You're going to see this one scene showing off some of the interactions, some of the character emotions. Then I'll show it to you again, but with a behind-the-scenes view to show you how the performance capture really works. Let's check it out.
Like this, just panic.
Don't like that, man. You scared the crap out of me. Pack up and move this seat, man.
Are you conscious? Get back in the game, man. Stay with me.
So there you go. Full performance capture. Where's my Wire fans? Anyone a fan of The Wire? We got Omar in the game, right?
Yeah. So one of the things we want to do, since we have this technology and we're able to really deliver a lot of emotion out of the characters, is we want to tell a very character-centric story. So we want to tell more of a character story told in a military setting. And character stories you guys are pretty familiar with. You've seen them in a lot of the popular TV shows today. They're all character-driven stories. So like for instance, who watches Game of Thrones? Pretty much everybody. If you don't watch Game of Thrones and you're here at PAX, I think the enforcers throw you out. But you know, Game of Thrones is a character story in a fantasy setting. There's a lot more reasons why people watch Game of Thrones other than like cool dragons and stuff. I mean, most of you guys watch it for the nudity, but aside from that, people really watch it because they care about the characters, right? They want to know what's going to happen to Arya Stark, or they want to know what's happening with Tyrion Lannister or anyone else. No spoilers, don't worry. And that's kind of what we want to do as well. We want to tell a very character-centric story where you really care about these characters. You're going to know like what you're going to interact with them as you're the main character going through the campaign. You're going to interact with various characters like Irish and whatnot. You're going to find out what his motivations are. You're going to find out all the different motivations of the various characters. You're going to have to interact with them. And what happens to them, we really want you to feel involved and invested and actually care about it. So that's the kind of story we're telling. But let's talk a little bit now about the gameplay. What we want to do in the single-player campaign is we want to take some of the things that people loved about Battlefield multiplayer and marry it to the single-player campaign. So for instance, people love vehicles, right? Battlefield vehicles, they go hand in hand. We want to add a lot more vehicles into the Battlefield single-player campaign. Another thing people love about Battlefield, destruction, right? Destruction, Battlefield, is like pizza and beer, right? You can't get enough of it. So we really wanted to add a lot more destruction elements into Battlefield. So now in single player, you can whip out your grenade launcher, blow holes through walls, and flank the enemy from the other side, just like you can in multiplayer. Also, what we wanted to add is this notion of team play. Battlefield fans love playing team play. They love playing with each other in their squads and teams and whatnot. And then when you play Battlefield 3, you may have had a moment where, let's say you're playing on Operation Metro, my personal favorite map. You're walking outside to the courtyard to capture point A, and some guy snipes you from one of the buildings off to the side. And you then respawn, you go back, and you see him, but you can't quite get the right angle, so instead you decide to hit the back button and you spot him. He gets that little orange triangle over his head, and then someone else on your team takes him out for you. We want to kind of take that mechanic and bring it into single player as well. So now, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to spot enemies in single player, and your AI squad mates will go and focus attack on those guys. And there's countless reasons why you'd want to do that. Some of the more obvious ones are, let's say you're not the world's greatest gamer, and you feel kind of embarrassed about turning in your man card to go down to the easy setting in the campaign. So now what you can do is you can spot the enemy, and your squad mates can come and help you out. But another reason, let's say you're one of the more advanced gamers, you really want to set up a whole new level of strategic gameplay now. So you can literally set up flanking maneuvers where you spot enemies with your squad, they distract the enemy, you whip out your grenade launcher, shotgun, whatever, you blowing holes through walls all the way around to flank from the other side. So, I'm going to invite my colleague, Mr. Glenn Stoats, on up on the stage. He's going to give you the live demo. Let's hear it for Glenn. Glenn, you're huge here in Australia. So let me just set up the demo for you. Basically what's going to happen is we've been asked to go investigate the USS Titan. It's been under attack. We don't know how. We don't know why. We're going to go there with our squad to recover some vital intel. Unfortunately, once we get there, all hell breaks loose.
Clock's ticking on the Titan. I need eyes on board before she's lost forever to the deep blue. Now, there's a number of variables at play. We don't know who attacked them or if they'll be back. Can't afford any surprises. I'll make room for any survivors. Take cover!
Spotting the enemy. So they're now going to go up the left side while Glenn goes down the right side.
We got the intel. Do as I say and we'll get off this boat.
Yeah, okay. Show me how that's gonna happen.
Wrecker, the door.
of different options to get to the other end. You can go down the right side, the left side, up the middle. You can go through the ship, go back in. And you notice that the objects here that are there to give ambiance are much more than just kind of static set pieces. They're fully interactive. Looks like Glenn's going to go up the right side here. Once again, you see him spotting the enemy. And now he's going to blow up these support structures to free these aircraft to roll down and crush his enemies as well. So we have this pesky grenadier who he's left. He's going to pick apart the cover and almost kill Glenn there. So Glenn's going to have to take care of him. He's decided to go inside the ship. He's going to pick up that LMG. And now he's going to come up and flank the grenadier from the other side. So we'll use this opportunity to show you our new cover mechanics. So now when you want to go in outside of cover, you just run up against cover, go into the sights button, and then you'll automatically pop up over cover. We've also added a lot more customization to the guns. So now you can add scope. So he had a reflex sight, he just turned on his 2x scope. You can also switch weapons and go into altered sights. So you have primary sights, canted sights. All these different things are now at your disposal now with the weapons. Glenn's going to get a little creative here. He's going to free that bomb to roll down into the enemy. There's some of that cool explosion-y tech stuff we talked about. So the boat you see in the background there, that's the Valkyrie. That's what we're trying to get back to. And thankfully, the Chinese left this attack boat, which we're going to commandeer and use this as an opportunity to show you some Battlefield 4 vehicular combat. So when you're in the driver's seat, you have two main attacks in the attack boat. You got the 30mm cannon. You also have some homing missiles as well.
Oh, dang. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh.
There you go, Battlefield 4. That plane gets you every time at the end there, man. So the game is a launch title on the Xbox One, and if you decide to get the Xbox One version, we have an exclusive piece of DLC that's launching first on Xbox One. It's called Battlefield 4 Second Assault. It's 4 of the fan favorite maps from Battlefield, re-brought into life with the Frostbite 3 engine. Re-brought into life doesn't really make a lot of sense, but brought back and reimagined with the Frostbite 3 engine. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of PAX.
Now, would you all like to see another game demo? All right. Look, I don't think this next one really needs much of an introduction. It is a fan favourite, debuting for the first time on a new generation console, Killer Instinct. All right. Now, to help me demo this game, I'm going to ask Eric to rejoin us on the stage. I'm going to be playing as Jago, Eric as Saberwolf.
So Adam, I forget, is this the presentation where I let you win?
We'll see how we go there, mate. Let's see who pulls off the biggest combo, man. I'm expecting ultras from you, right?
Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, then. I really need to go to the gym more. Seriously, look at that dude.
playing, but it also is a game that helps us demonstrate some of the other functionality that the Xbox One can deliver. Firstly, game DVR. Of course, you can record gameplay at any point in time and be able to share that content either through Xbox Live or other social channels, as well as which we've introduced a partnership with Twitch to enable live streaming of gameplay. So if Eric and I are playing, he wants to pull out an ultra combo, which by the way I didn't see today, we can broadcast that live, have our friends jump in and make comments on the fly. And of course, one of the other great things that comes with the multiplayer gaming on the Xbox One is dedicated servers. You know, right now we have 300,000 around the world dedicated to Xbox Live when the Xbox One launches to enable things like the eradication of cheating online, the eradication of mid-game host migration, which is a personal peeve of mine, and of course, hosting of those games on those servers as opposed to peer-to-peer, which are big pluses for any of you out there which enjoy playing online. Now, I would love to stay up here for another hour and show you guys even more games, but unfortunately they've only given us an hour to speak to you. So we will have to start to wrap it up here. I would like to say a big thank you for coming down today and checking us out. If you do want to get up and close personal with the box, if you haven't already seen it, we will be on the booth from 2 to 3 today, so you can come down, have a look at it, maybe get a photo with it and whatnot. We've also got our Twitter feed there if you're interested in receiving any other updates. And if you haven't already heard, we did announce the other day that we will be at the EB Expo in October with hands-on playable code in a big, big way. So I encourage you guys to get down there and check out some of those games firsthand. Now, before I leave you, I thought you may want to see one last video. So thanks again for coming down and check out this game, which we think may kind of be a big deal. Thanks, guys. See you later.